We had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and I was cracking up like the next day because when I tell y'all, I was saying all the right words. I hear you. I understand you. I know what you're saying. I know what needs to change. I'm going to work and commit myself to making those changes. I'm here for you and I'm devoted to this process.
Yeah.
I said every single thing you could. I apologize for my actions that have led to you feeling this. I said everything that my therapist would be proud of. And Lexi said, I just don't feel that you're sorry. I was like, what? Well, feel it then. Let's go there.
So like a really bad mom. Quote unquote, I'm tired of people in my race. So I need to find me somebody white. This is how I knew that Brian
Don't do it.
was going to be a great physical partner.
Don't tell them. Hey everyone, welcome to the Let's Get Deep podcast, where we have conversations about our lives that most people would never.
Would never.
We were trying to film 2 podcasts today, and because we try to squeeze it in between the kids' naps, but I think we have sleep trained Elijah so well that he knew we tried to put him down a half hour early to
He
squeak
wasn't
a little bit
playing.
out.
He wasn't playing today.
He was mad. So we're only recording 1 podcast today.
And here we go.
Also, you will have to forgive us. Michigan is saturated with pollen in the air, and Lexi and I both sound like we have
I think
our
we
nose
sound
plugged.
okay, but we're not gonna be sniffling on here. But I feel like our voices sound a little different.
It may sound a little squirrely.
Yes. Today we are dressed very casual. This is no makeup. This is very comfy and cozy. We want you guys to just get real cozy and get to know us a little bit more. We asked our community to give us some questions that we can answer, and it's about to get real, y'all.
I'm excited. These questions, there were some super lighthearted questions, which are fun. We'll answer some of those too.
Yes.
There were some really deep questions. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Here we go.
I actually don't know which questions we're going to pick. We're just going to scroll through them and find some good ones.
All right, let's do it. You ready?
All right, y'all, strap in because we're going to talk about it.
Ooh, okay. Well, some of these questions we've actually explained, like how did you guys meet? How did he propose? All of those questions are in our stories. We could put some links down below in the description. But yes, we do have those stories already.
Yeah, we've also made some YouTube videos about those.
Yeah.
Okay, let's just start here. For all of the many questions that asked us about how many kids do we want any more kids? Let's just settle that debate right now.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I would say we absolutely. And he know why he looking like that. Because
Say it with your chest.
I've always seen us with 3. But, I feel like a lot of people would understand that after 2, you get a little comfortable of like, we have a boy and a girl. We, it feels like we are a full family. But I think a lot of me I do want 3, but I think a lot of it is just feeling like I have to start over. And I finally feel like myself. I finally feel like I'm doing things, and to start over and do all of this all over again with the lives that we have is a lot. So processing that, and IVF, I want to make it clear. It's not just that, it's IVF as well. So yeah.
And Elijah was not an easy child to bring forth for you.
He I wouldn't say easy. He was just different. He was very different than Asa, and we are only used to Asa. That's all we know.
Oh, I was not talking about his mannerisms. I said to bring forth. The labor.
Oh, yes. The labor. Yes.
That was a tough labor.
That wasn't.
You definitely remember.
It was no joke.
They say like women forget, how difficult labor is. Like that one you didn't forget.
I did not forget that one.
You forgot Asa though.
No, I didn't forget Asa. It's just uncomfortable. Like I legitimately still think it's uncomfortable. Oh, this is cute.
Okay.
How did you know I was the one?
I mean, look at you. What a cheese ball. I'm a cheese ball sometimes. It wasn't when we first met, obviously, because we were just friends and we just knew each other. It was when things just started to align, and I'm like, this woman not only checks every box, because I don't believe in like lists necessarily. I'm like, you got to have all these things, but It was the chemistry, it was the comfortability, it was every dynamic that I wanted in a wife. I started seeing in you, and I actually saw you as my wife before we even started officially dating. And I told you that.
That's so crazy to me
Isn't it
because
wild?
I felt like that we irritated each other when we were friends.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And I
so
loved
crazy. But that one time where we tried to act like we were dating just to tease our friends.
That was way in the beginning. Though.
Okay.
I'm
Because
talking
I
about
was like, we were uncomfortable.
yeah,
we were
that was in the
uncomfortable.
beginning. But Lexi asked me, we were not dating yet, and we were randomly talking. It was before we were dating, and I was like, yeah, I see you as my wife. And looking back, I'm like, that's wild.
Crazy. That's wild. That's wild.
And I knew it. And ever since then, I was confident with it.
I will say for me, oh, wait, what?
To the point where, I don't know if y'all know this, but Lexi and I broke up for a couple months.
We did.
And we did not talk to each other for a full month. when
More
we
than
were
that. I think
dating.
it was more than that.
It might have been more. Even in that time, I still knew you were going to be my wife.
Yeah, I wasn't playing with you then. I was not.
And
I
that's
was like,
fine,
you
'cause
know
I
what?
knew.
I had to take my time, release my feelings from you. I did all that work.
Release
and I
them.
still wasn't full yet, but I was like, I'm working towards healing. And then you call. That is a different story, y'all, of why we broke up. Y'all are not ready for that.
Oh, goodness. What were you
Okay.
gonna say?
I was gonna say I knew you were the one when I had that dream about you. And it was so weird because we were just kind of liking each other. And it was such a clear dream of us getting married. And I knew I couldn't see your face, but I knew it was you. And I thought that was so weird because I've never had such a vivid dream about somebody like that outside like my family. So it was weird.
So basically, God had to tell you, okay.
Yes. I wasn't one of them
Okay.
girls.
All right. This is getting deeper, but we're still light.
Okay.
How have each of you transformed since becoming parents?
I would say that with each other, I feel like that we have learned to give each other more grace. And I also feel that we have learned to be more of a team. Like each year that we are parents and also having to navigate everything else with our family.
Yeah.
I also feel like that we've learned how to be a family even more. Like we really like to just be in the house. We do.
I would say, number one, you've become more organized.
Yes.
Like you've been forced to become more organized of just scheduling, just being able to maintain now multiple people's lives as opposed to just yours. Like that's helped you. But on an emotional level or like a developmental level, we've been not forced, but we've been so much more intentional about our relationship, even after
Yeah.
having kids, not just with date night, but just very intentional of where our priorities are, aware and very conscious of where our space is at, and for their sake, for our sake, like, and just the family health, the health of the family.
Yes. Yes.
I think has been something we've been very focused on. My patience has
Oh,
increased
yes.
dramatically.
Very much so.
I was very impatient before kids. Still can be impatient, but not even close. It's very different.
I also think it reminds me of when we first started talking. I remember you were like, I mean, I got to see a girl every day for 7 days. Like that's a lot. I think it's the same when it comes to kids of like, you were like, I need to make sure I have my me time. Like you thought that you needed way more me time than you thought.
Oh my God, y'all. When we had Asa, I want to say I was like, I need me time like twice a week. And me time to me meant at the time, like I need a good 3-4 hours of
Yes.
by myself, no one interrupting, not working, like quiet, quality time to watch
Yes.
a movie, read books. I was like, I need at least twice a week. And we would schedule it. And God bless Lexi for doing her best to help me with it. And I told her, like, I'll give you me time too. I'll watch the kid, but I felt like I needed it so much.
Yeah,
Now I'm like, I mean, you know,
we get it.
if we get it, it's cool.
I think we
But
care more about us than we do each other,
Yes,
like our individual
individually.
time. So,
That's a good one.
okay. Ooh, okay. 3 most important lessons you have learned from marriage and 3 from life in general. So maybe which one do you want to
take
do?
One, yeah, you take one, I'll take one.
Which one do you want to do?
You do marriage, I'll do life.
Okay. Man, you got us thinking over here. I would say at least one is there are different versions of yourself and of your spouse that will eventually come. We are going to be together for a very long time. And loving the different versions of yourself and each other is so important because love is a choice. And watching each other grow and watching each other change, like some of the things you may like before, you may not like now. And being able to be flexible, I think that's a huge lesson. Gratitude goes a long way. Seeing what your spouse does versus what your spouse doesn't do goes a long way. There have been times where I could be so upset with Brian. I could be so irritated with, what you said or what you did. And I look at the good versus the bad and knowing that we'll eventually get past it, we'll get over it. But seeing who you are as a whole, as a husband, and looking at all things you do gives me space to give you grace. Not to say we're not going to talk about it, but gives me space to be like, okay, I can get through this. I love him. He's with me. He's for me.
Yeah, it's good.
Last one. I'm just kind of thinking there's probably more important ones, but these are the ones that I'm thinking about now is at the end of the day, we have each other's backs. And that goes with like family, that goes with, just if we're having a hard season, I always feel good when I feel like you are with me. We have each other's backs. Like we got this. I'm holding on to you.
Yeah.
And if we could do that, that's a lesson that I feel like we had to learn because a lot of times we see the issue and we see the problem and we put the problem towards our spouse. Like, this is your problem. This is your situation. But when we can look at the problem from a distance and like say, we're going to hold each other down, but we need to figure out this situation together. That is always a positive. And I think a lot of people talk about it, but to do it, it feels like we're a team. Like, you got my back. We're going to figure this out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I love those. It's giving me a little time to think. I think I can whip through these.
Okay, let's go.
3 life lessons or thoughts. Number 1, I have realized how many judgments I have made that I should not have made about people, about concepts, about places, about experiences, about myself, about everything. There are so many filters, subconscious or conscious, that we look through to perceive life around us.
Yeah.
And in those filters that have been created based on our trauma, our past, our experiences, our childhood, everything, to make rushed judgments about someone is so dangerous.
Yeah.
To make a judgment about a situation, to make a judgment about a choice, yourself, it's so dangerous. It's better to just wait, pause, let things play out, see the full scope, do research and see other perspectives, and then with all the information, make your assessment. I just think it's so crucial not to just rush to judgment.
I love that.
I would say, do not let anyone tell you what you can or cannot do. And I know that sounds super like cliche, but to the point where people have called us naive for thinking of how we're going to live our lifestyle.
Yeah.
And you know what? Call me naive, because what I promise you is that I'm going to live out everything that I have seen from my life.
Yeah.
Because I believe it's God inspired, number 1. And if it's God inspired, then nothing can stop me.
Exactly.
He's laid out the path for that. But having a beautiful marriage while raising kids and imparting into them, spending time with them.
Still going on our date night, still like focusing and having fun with each other.
Running our own business, quitting corporate, like all of these things, we can have it all.
Yeah.
I truly just believe in my heart that we can have it all. And I'm very big on vision casting.
Yeah.
And so I have laid out like our lives in my mind, and I speak those things. I believe those things, and they have come to pass, and they're continuing to come to pass.
Yes.
So I'm gonna be honest, y'all. I forgot number 3 and I can't think of it, but it was good. So
Well,
just
if you have it as you go, then you can say like,
it'll
I
come
got
back.
it.
It's fine.
I will say really quick is that I do feel like you are such a vision caster. Like definitely would not be where I am today if it wasn't for the way that you believe in the vision, believe that you can do all these things. I think that I think sometimes I say that I'm complacent, but you're like, you're really not complacent. But I do feel like I can be very comfortable in seasons that I'm in. And you have been such a pusher of that. And I think everybody needs a pusher, but I'm thankful that it's my spouse that's a pusher of that. And it reminds me like, no, we got this. We're going to do it though. Let's go.
I remember the third one. There we go.
Oh, nice.
Appreciate it. Number 3 is be introspective, because there are so many things that I've discovered about myself that were lying underneath the surface that if I didn't take the time to like uproot, dig, and really understand, I'm walking around here living life having really no idea who I am if I don't do those things.
Yeah.
And I also am reacting and responding to people in ways that are negative and unhealthy, but I don't know why I'm doing it. And I can't control myself because I don't know the root of it. It's just, there's so much benefit to doing the proper work that it takes to understand yourself. Just simply understanding who you are underneath all of these things and where it comes from, it can help you so much with just how you live life.
Okay. Wait, let me see. What do you enjoy most about your careers?
We have the same career at
Yeah.
this point. I love that we control it.
Yeah.
I love that we dictate where this goes. What we decide to talk about is our decision. What type of content we put out there is our decision. Not only just what type of content, but how we want to grow our business into different areas. That's our choice. We have full autonomy over it. And I love that. It's thrilling.
Yeah.
It's exciting. And again, not to be too deep, but like, I believe we can listen directly to God and just say, okay, order our steps and we'll just do it. You know, I don't have to jump through any other hoops to get approval from someone else who doesn't have a relationship with God to get done what we're supposed to get done.
Yeah. I mean, but also we do have brands and stuff that we do work at too. That's different.
But we decide if we want to take those brands.
No, absolutely. But once we do, then there's hoops that we have to,
that's
and
fair.
I think that can also be difficult.
I'm thinking more of the organic side of it, but
That's true.
okay, I've got kind of a funny one, but it's also deep.
Okay.
This person said, Lexi, I want this question to come across right, but can you go into detail about how and why your thought process is so deep? Is this how you live every day? Why are you so deep, girl? That's basically what it's asking. She said, I only asked because you seem to have such passion for topics most people won't talk about, but you address them and go deep.
That is very true. I remember my brother Matthew, he said this one time because I forget a lot of things. And when I mean a lot of things, I would come in the house like 3 or 4 times when I'm planning on leaving out, and I would forget my keys, my wallet,
to this day,
my earrings, my rings. Like I would forget. Literally, I forgot to put on my ring today. So I forget things a lot. And he would say that maybe my mind is just very high in deep mode that I forget the little things. And I think that's very true.
It's possibly true.
I can sit and just think about, and not sit because I do a lot of stuff, but I can really just focus on certain things. And then I end up having just a deep conversation about it.
But why? She's asking why. Why do you live every day being so deep?
I don't know. I like to understand the mind. I read a lot of introspective books. I like to understand like social experiments. I like to see how people navigate their lives and how I navigate their lives, how I navigate my life, and how our lives navigate each other. Like I do a lot of that.
It's true. You do.
And I also think that I'm married to a deep person.
Hey, now, wait a minute.
And I will say his whole family is extremely deep. And I think that I was meant to be in a deep family because they are very deep.
We are very deep, but I also think I'm more lighthearted than you are at the same time.
Really? I feel like I'm a lot more chill than you.
You're more chill. I can be more like intense and passionate as a person, but I feel like I also am more like goofy and lighthearted than you.
Yeah, probably. I think I'm very chill and I like to have a good time, but I also somehow, some way, I bring in a deep conversation.
No,
Yeah,
you will find that deep
both of us
conversation.
do that though. Both of us do that.
More you than
but
me, though.
more me than you. Well, both of our families supportive of our relationship.
Yes.
I will say yes. I think they didn't know the things that they would need to change or adjust with us being an interethnic relationship.
That's fair.
I think they were not prepared. There were things that my parents experienced with me being in an interethnic relationship that they just weren't, fully.
Your parents?
Yeah. With like what happened at the cabin, I think my parents were really like, I don't think they would have ever thought that would happen.
That's an interesting question to ask them if they ever thought that something like that would happen.
I'm curious to know.
I feel like your dad would prepare for anything.
Yeah, my dad probably would say he's not surprised about anything, but I think that it actually happened like in a situation. I think that he was more shocked. Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, people accepted it like super fast. Like everyone was good with it.
Oh yeah, they loved us. I think in any interethnic relationship, I think preparing and knowing what that in detail is heavy.
Yeah.
Okay. When will we cut Elijah's hair?
Never. No, I'm kidding. He's one now. I was waiting for him to become one to cut his hair. So
Really?
I'm good.
Are you
I'm
gonna
good now.
Are you gonna learn to cut his hair?
No.
I think that is worth. I love just like you learn Aza's hair. Why wouldn't you learn to cut Elijah's hair?
I feel like him going to the barber with me could be an experience. I don't feel like I need to be the one to cut his hair.
You don't, but I think it's such a beautiful thing when like you see the father and the son.
I think it's beautiful when the father takes his son to get his first haircut and be there with him and get their haircuts together.
Yeah, but I think that there's simple things that you can learn where he doesn't need to go get his, hair, like just
I
like
want him to look
sidelining.
sweet, though. I don't want him
You
to look
can
like
do
me.
that, babe.
Like me cutting it, it's gonna be like a straight line and then done.
No, I think that there's a way you can do it where it's not bad.
Plus, he has different textured hair, so it would be like, it's in the middle of our hair. It's curly.
I don't think we should
thinner
cut
hair.
his hair. I think if anything, we need to line up his hair.
I would like to see him get a little taper on the side,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
leave the top long.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I am
I thought you were gonna
just.
say absolutely not. I was like, wait, no.
No, I love it. I love it. I think that's going to
Yeah.
look so dope. I cannot wait
To
to see what he looks like. But yes.
It's coming soon. It's coming
Yeah.
soon.
Like my dad would take him to the barber if he wanted to do something like, really cool. But my dad, did my brother's hair for a long time. And then your mom did your hair for a long time.
My point.
It wasn't
It
bad.
didn't look good.
And also it was bonding.
Love you,
Like
Mom.
I loved when your mom did that because I just saw how much she
For sure.
bonded with you guys
sure.
over the years. Now, yeah, eventually you would need to go and get your hair cut. But for this beginning stage, it doesn't need to look super great. I think you can do it.
Yes, it does. We have pictures to take.
I'm done.
All right, I'm gonna reshape this question to fit more so like us. So it says, how do you think working from home will impact your marriage and or the way you show up for each other? So it's not just working from home, because I've been working from home, but now that we officially full-time work together in a business, how does that impact our marriage? I'll let you go.
I will say that in the beginning, we're going to be for real.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like,
we're about to go in.
I don't know if that's why I subconsciously crossed my arms. I was like, talk about it.
Say what you got to say. So Brian has been in his company for 8 years, and before
10.
that, he was in the other company, which is the same business, for 2 years. So altogether, you were in the same business environment for 10 years. He has not changed. He has not switched up. He has not taken a break. That is what you've been doing for a decade of time. And for me, in that decade, I have probably had 4 or 5 jobs, like 4 or 5 different environments where I had to learn.
Not only jobs, careers. Different entirely.
I was a
different
photographer, I was a nanny, and then I became a daycare assistant. And then, I started
And then
doing
social
YouTube
work.
and then social work. right? And I was doing social work for years, but all of those were even then different environments. So I've been able to be flexible and adjust and know that there takes an adjustment period. I felt like you were super excited and ready to take on this full time. But when you came out, it's not, it's different than corporate. We are on a schedule, but we are on our own schedule, and we are scheduling things around kids, around family, around events. And the consistency that you had, I think, really shook you. And it caused us to just have to go through a heavier transitional period than I thought we would. I thought it would be like, oh, this is about to be flexible, easy going. But you had to adjust to the environment. It's a different environment.
It's a very different environment. And I thought it was going to be what you said too. I thought it was going to be, oh, this is going to be great, easy transition. I'm used to working from home already, and now we'll just have time to just focus on the business. I think there's a couple things that happens, but when it was my job, there was no like negotiating our time or our schedules.
Yeah.
I was in a room with the door closed from 8 to 5, or whenever I had meetings or whenever I needed to get work done. There was no negotiating that. It's like, this is how we, like, I can't have to do it, right?
Yeah.
So the rest of the family has to orbit around that at some level.
Yes.
Now the rest of the family's not orbiting around that schedule. Now there is flexibility that we don't have, but that also presents, okay, well, we can take the kids to swim class during the day, which would make it easier for them and for the nighttime routine, help them get to bed on time and feed them on time. But if I was working my job, we would do that after 5. But now that happens in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
But then in the middle of the day, now that takes away time for us to work on our business.
Yeah. And so now we're pushing out, but also pushing out more content, doing
we
all
were
of this
doubling
stuff.
the workload. Now, I was like, babe, we can do this, and now we can do this, and now we can do this. And a lot of these projects haven't even dropped yet. So y'all going to see them coming very soon.
Yes.
But you know, when we're doing all this work, it takes up more time, more bandwidth, but now kids are ever present.
Which I'm used to.
And I am not.
And that was a
Lord, that was hard.
That was a big shift, because I will say this, I knew that there was going to be transition. I'm not unaware of it, but I think that the level of, I call them like freak out modes that you have.
Oh, I had a couple freak out moments.
Like, there's these moments where Brian's like, he literally came to me one time. He was like, I need an office. I can't work like this. And I'm like, Brian, we just need to communicate and tell, maybe our nanny or tell somebody that if they have the kids, we just need to work. So maybe we can figure out a place they can go or whatever. And Brian just could not focus because
there are barn doors on our office, which means it holds no sound back. So we hear the kids running around, talking loud, screaming, yelling while I'm trying to focus working. I was like, I am not used to this.
And that's not what he was used to.
So I'm like, we need to change out the doors. We need to put some.
Brian was ready to renovate our whole house. And I said, let's breathe. I said, Brian, you are in it's almost like you're in a trance. Like you are in a space where your brain is literally not used to this. And so all of us have to accommodate this transition. This is not just, I think for a moment, I was so focused on your transition. I'm like, Brian's transitioning. Like, I want him to feel,
you weren't thinking about your
feel
transition.
comfortable. And I was like, this was hard for me too. And learning how to, we worked together for so long, but now being full-time, it's like our work environments have to shift because now it's full-time. It's not part-time working together. So figuring out what that looks like.
There was also a transition of working together at a deeper, more intimate level because Lexi is used to making certain decisions without me because there would just be no time for her to run every decision by me and get my input.
Yes.
Now I'm like, well, I'm here and I got opinions.
You got opinions.
I got opinions. And so we started collaborating more together.
Yeah.
And I'm used to just sending out emails, doing things very, very like task oriented, and I'm an independent worker. I don't have to run things by anybody. I usually just do what I do by myself. So now when I'm sending out emails, I need her to review it and make sure it looks good because this is a new world to me in some sense.
Yeah, because I did all the back end stuff
And
for
that level of
years.
accountability in a job is annoying to me.
Yeah.
I do not like it. I want autonomy. I want, sovereignty over what I do with my day and how I do it.
Yeah.
And having to work together to that degree was tough, but I think we're in a really good groove now.
I feel like we're in a great groove.
And it's
I will say
fun.
that there's levels where I told Brian, I'm like, eventually you will get to this place where you could do these things without my permission, without looking at it. But right now, because it's new, it's like you don't like being the newbie in the block.
I don't because I'm used to like being like not top dog, but like on the top of my game. And
Brian
like,
was top of his game, like with his job for the last 5-6 years.
for a while.
That's a long time.
So but at the point we're at now is like it's beautiful because those pieces are not really holding us back.
No.
Those pieces aren't something we have to struggle through or figure out anymore. And I think now it's just taking it to the next level of driving efficiency with our time and effectiveness with what
Now that we
do.
got this like smooth dance going, I think at this point, what you have done is now taking what we are trying to do to the next level and what that looks like. And I could feel it.
Yeah.
I'm excited about it. Y'all better get excited about it. Some stuff
Get
coming.
Excited. Okay, this is a good one. It says, who is the first one to apologize when arguing? I am curious to hear what you have to say.
I think that if someone feels like they're at fault, I do think that I do apologize quicker.
But it's the if you feel that you're at fault part.
Yeah, I easily can feel like I'm at fault. I would say you and Cam are very similar, where if you feel like there's no sense that you feel like that you should be sorry, you're not going to apologize.
This is something I would be curious to hear what y'all's perspective is. If you believe in a relationship, you should apologize sometimes just for the health of the relationship, even if you don't feel you're wrong.
I'm not saying that you should do that.
A lot of people think that though.
Yeah, I am not saying that.
No, I'm not. I know you're not.
Yeah.
But I know a lot of people who are saying like sometimes you just have to be humble and apologize for the sake of the health of the relationship. You don't necessarily need to know you're wrong, but it's just like apologize and move on. If it's important to someone else, just apologize and take the hit.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way. I don't apologize unless I really feel like I'm wrong because I want to be genuine. And I don't ever want to blur the lines of sincerity.
Yeah.
So I'm like, for you to trust that I'm being genuine, that means sometimes I don't apologize. So I mean it when I feel bad and feel like I was wrong.
I agree. I think that there's a level where it's almost like the percentage. If 90% of you agrees that maybe you should apologize, but that other 10% is like, I feel like sometimes it has to be 100% for you.
There's this voice in my head of like, I need the whole argument first. Like I need to hear all the viewpoints, and there's room for me to be right still.
See, for me, I will say
to not apologize.
Even 70%, I'm pretty much good on it. Like I'm like,
can see
okay.
that.
And I think that that's why I feel like I am quicker to apologize, because it's like the 70%, I can do the 70%. With you, I feel like you're a lot better now, but I feel like there's been times where I'm like 90%, and then that 10% is like, actually, I need to hear the full
I will
thing.
say, if the argument's intensity increases, I think it takes you longer. It takes you more time to wind down from an intense conversation versus me. I think that I brush things off faster. And
You absolutely do.
And I'm like, you know what? I'm tripping.
That is very true. When you're
you
quick,
will sit in it. For
yeah,
me.
you're like, wait, I'm trying to understand, because I am very much like, I need to feel the emotion. I need to feel you're sorry. Like I don't, not to say you're begging on your knees. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you just say like, all right, I'm sorry. Well, do you really know what you did?
We had a conversation a couple weeks ago, and I was cracking up like the next day because when I tell y'all, I was saying all the right words. I hear you. I understand you. I know what you're saying. I know what needs to change. I'm going to work and commit myself to making those changes. I'm here for you and I'm devoted to this process.
Yeah.
I said every single thing you could. I apologize for my actions that have led to you feeling this. I said everything that my therapist would be proud of. And Lexi said, I just don't feel that you're sorry. I was like, what? Well, feel it then. Sounds like a you problem.
I don't know why I was like, maybe the vibe. I don't know.
Like,
It's the energy.
The vibe? I just said everything perfectly. I just woke Elijah up. He'll go back to sleep. Give it a second. It was the what? It was too loud. He'll go back to sleep.
I hope so.
There he goes. He's
Okay. What is your favorite place to vacation?
That's so hard.
I will say our favorite vacation was, and we love places like Disney, and we also love places like the beach. We also love very active places. One of the things that Brian and I talk about is that we don't like to plan vacations like a year in advance and think like, oh, we're going to go to New York or we're going to go to Chicago, because we don't know where we are going to be mentally to go there. We'll always be down for a relaxing vacation, but sometimes we want to be, out and about, going and sightseeing and doing all these things.
Plan an adventurous vacation and come to find out during that season, you're actually super busy, and tired.
Super tired. And we've done that where we booked a trip to New York and we were exhausted. We could not even leave the room.
We're like, why are we even here?
Why are we even here?
We just slept.
I will say one of our favorite vacations, I would say for me, this was like my favorite vacation, was definitely Brian surprising me to go to the Maldives. That vacation, people say they could only go to the Maldives for like 4 or 5 days. We stayed there for 8, 9 days.
Couldn't get enough.
We could have stayed.
Would have been good for another week.
Would have been good. Like, woke up, did the same thing every day, and would have been fine.
It was the greatest. And we usually have a good balance of like chill days on a vacation and adventure tourist, not like tourists, but like excursion days on a vacation. We didn't have we kind of had a half excursion where Lexi got dehydrated and passed out, and we took her to an island that had a clinic, and that was cool. But that was an intense story. But besides that, we didn't have a single excursion. We went like 7 days doing a ton of nothing.
It was beautiful.
It was heaven.
And it was great. We had a great balcony scene.
Taking me back.
I'm crying.
It would be like swim, eat, nap, swim, eat, stroll, eat.
Oh, rainstorm.
swim.
We're going to watch TV. Like, it was great.
Fantastic. But I will say, I think to answer the question though, my favorite type of vacation is Europe.
Oh yeah.
It's gotta be.
That was one. That was your favorite. That was your favorite vacation. I would say that's one. That's up there. It's definitely top
Italy.
2. I don't know which one I like more.
In Paris. Le croissant.
I'm done. Wait, how long did you wait before intimacy?
Next question.
So
All right, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about it.
We got a few minutes. Break it down.
Okay. So Brian and I were dating for 4 years.
We dated from dating to marriage was 4 years.
4 years.
Yep.
Well, that was a little more, but yeah, 4 years. And I think we unfortunately did not make it to marriage.
I think we went 2 years without having sex. And
I think it was 2.5.
it might have been. But we went a period of time without having sex. We were very committed to being, we were both virgins coming into the relationship.
Purity rings.
It's a heavy topic for me personally, much more than Lexi, I feel like. But I won't say much more, but it still stings a lot that I wasn't a virgin going into marriage, because I had attached my identity to being a virgin. I had attached my purpose in life, God-given purpose, to being a virgin. And so when I realized we had messed up, it was like I didn't know what to do with my life, because so much had been built up to me being a virgin that I lost myself, and it took a minute for me to regain my identity of what is God even going to use me for if I'm not a
Yeah.
virgin. And that was a very difficult process for me, but it
It's
was
part of
also
the reason why we broke up.
it was the reason why we broke up.
We're going to talk about that later. It was, I would say it was a little bit more than that. It wasn't just that.
That's fair. But I think that it was one of those things where it was also difficult to balance this concept of this. It wasn't just lust. Now there was some lust in there, but like I loved you. I loved you.
Yeah.
And I think you loved me. And so it was like
I did.
it was like this is a physical expression of our love. And so to now that I actually am experiencing what love means and looks like, it was weird to be like, I want to express it in this way, but the Bible tells me I can't. But like it feels natural to express it this way, but I have to wait. And it started to get a little hazy for a minute for
Yeah.
me until we started to snap out of it.
Yeah. And we did take 6 months before we got married. We said we were going to be celibate and just wait until marriage. And we did. And it was good. It was hard because when you had something,
Ooh, it was so much harder to stop.
when you start.
Ooh.
Sheesh.
But no, we didn't make it. We were virgins with each other. We were the only people we've been with. So there's so much blessing in that.
Yeah.
I'm glad we didn't split and end up with someone else, because I think people who come into marriage with having multiple sexual partners, it just makes things so much more complicated, or definitely the potential to be complicated
Yeah.
with their sex life, that I just don't want that.
I'm thankful that we don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of that, have you kissed that? This wasn't a question, but I think it's good to talk about. Have you kissed somebody before me?
Yeah. I mean, you
Who was
that.
better?
You.
I just wanted that to be known.
Not even a question. Girl, you know your way around. I have a deep one.
Okay.
Both of us are going to answer individually.
Okay.
You ready?
Mm-hmm.
If you could change one thing about the organization of the church, what would it be?
Only one.
That's a heavy question.
I will say, and make sure you say one, not 10. I would say that we focus a lot on people becoming leaders instead of servants. And with the organization of church, I really do feel that if we build a community surrounding the beauty of servanthood, then you will build leaders versus making leaders in hopes that they learn servanthood.
That's interesting.
I'm just going to leave it there.
That's interesting. That's an interesting conversation that I would like to delve deeper that we don't have time for.
Yes, I'm just going to leave it there. Leave it there.
It is hard to pick one.
Right. And we love the church.
We love the church.
We do. We love the church.
We love our church. We love the church.
Yes.
Christ Church, his bride. I would love to see true discipleship really penetrate the heart of the church again. I think that we have gotten away from it heavily across the board. I think that the focus has become on pacifying people. I think the focus has become on giving a word that's interesting enough to draw people, but careful enough to not challenge people. And I say careful enough because sometimes when you challenge people, they want to leave your ministry.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of people who are very conscious of keeping members and keeping tithes and keeping offering.
Yeah.
And it's very focused on that, where I really wish that we would not be so afraid to, not even just afraid, but that we would have a heart again to disciple, meaning get in the mud with people in their lives, get into the thick of what's going on in their lives, and not being afraid to challenge those things and those mindsets and why people do the things the way they do. And that also requires multiple layers of leadership to be built, because it's not just the head pastor, and it's also not just the frontline leaders, but discipleship, to disciple each person or disciple multiple people in the congregation of a ministry, it takes a tiered approach of support and people to really walk life out with one another. It takes really truly building community. And I want to live life with my community of my ministry. Oh, and stop begging for tithes. What? I didn't say it. What?
I'm done. I'm crying,
I
Brian.
didn't mean to put that in there.
But it's in there.
Stop begging for money. Because if people have a heart, they'll give it. Inspire, don't demand.
Are you guys going to start your weekly videos on YouTube? We have been.
I thought this was what this was. No?
We actually are
Does this
doing
not
two.
count?
We are doing 2 videos. I think the algorithm is just not showing you
be fair,
guys the
I
videos.
think our vlogs are like every other week, and our podcasts are every week. Do podcasts not count as YouTube videos anymore?
Well, they said vlogs, so maybe I think they said vlogs.
It's
So
like every other
we
week.
do every other week, but we will get back to trying to get back. Well, blah blah blah. We are trying to get back to once a week with our vlogs.
I'm gonna try.
Yes. Julian said, "Who is your best friend and why?"
Julian Sykes is my best friend because he is.
Ooh.
Well, I got one too.
Okay.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Okay, you are a beautiful couple. Do you get that a lot? And do you think part of that is because of being an interracial couple?
I remember reading that one. That's an interesting question. I think that when people say our kids are beautiful, there's definitely undertones. Not everyone, but there's definitely undertones of some people that are saying it because they're mixed. Let's just be real. That they think that like caramel skin is more beautiful than dark skin or light skin.
I think that there has been undertones of that. It's so funny because I remember, and was a close friend of mine, and I love them, and I don't think I think that at the beginning they said this, and I don't think they thought through it or whatever, but they said part of the reason why we are doing well and growing is because we are, an interethnic relationship
On social media.
on social media. She was like, "Y'all cute, that's why y'all are doing well." And I was like,
Oh, thanks, I guess.
and that bothered me because it wasn't true. There's a lot of cute people on social media. There's a lot of cute.
There's a lot of cute interethnic couples who aren't making it.
And I think, and I thank God that, God has blessed us with this platform. I think that if there's anything I can say, that the reason why I think people like us or people, listen to us is because we have very transparent moments. We aren't here to try to show you a perfect and happy couple. We show you that we struggle. We show you that we go through things, that it's not always easy and it's not always sunshine and rainbows. And we're ready to talk about it and we're ready to listen. If you guys have something that you want to say, I think that a lot of times people want to show the perfect life, and I don't want to show a perfect life. I want to show the beauty of my life. And the beauty of my life doesn't always mean it needs to be perfect.
It's real. Back to the question.
That was the question.
Do
Not
you think
coming.
when people say, do you think when people say we're a cute couple is because we're interethnic?
That's what I'm saying. I don't think that a lot of people say like you're a cute couple. And it also maybe if they compliment us, I don't think that it's just because we're an interethnic relationship. Now there are some, absolutely. Literally there was a question on here that says, how can I find myself a Black woman? Of course. But I truly believe that why most people may think that we are a beautiful couple or they like us, I think a lot of it has to come with the fact that we are open and we transparent. I want people to feel like when they're having these conversations, they're sitting, right here on a couch. And I think that's why people say, you guys are a beautiful couple.
I think that we are cute.
I think we're cute.
I also
too.
think that, not today, but I think we dress well too. So
I
when people see
do.
a stylish, young, cute looking couple, I think, it's like, hey, cute couple. Oh, thanks.
That's true. I'll give you that.
I'm just being honest.
I think you're handsome. I think you're fine.
Amen. Thank you.
My man.
Ooh, this is a fun conversation.
Okay.
Recognizing the dating and marital landscape looks very different than it did when y'all got together. How would you advise Christian singles looking to get married? And what are the top 3 ways they can prepare themselves to be a spouse? Let's hit that first one.
I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably, Brian has no idea where I'm going with this.
I'm ready for it though.
You need to join a run group. Do y'all not see the men that are on these runs? I'm for real. Like y'all need to join a run group.
You're
Period.
funny.
That's how you, I'm playing all. That's not how you find a man. But I'm telling you, the men are at the run groups. I saw them the other day and I told my friends that are single, I said, y'all need to join the run group. I'm trying to help y'all. Cause I be looking out, I'm like, you know what? There's a lot of men at the Edge Fitness. They need to go there.
I think what I'm about to say, you're not expecting.
What?
I was gonna say, I ain't got nothing for y'all. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. I'm sorry, but the dating landscape is different, and
It is different
wild out here.
It is wild out here. I'm gonna tell you that right now.
I'm sorry for those who have to endure this craziness, but people are accepting side chicks and side men and sugar daddies, and there's too much going on the internet, and dating online is just crazy. And I think
we see a lot of horror stories, but you guys let us know. I'm sure there's beautiful stories, and I've heard some beautiful stories. But I will also say is that when I think about where some of these women that I know, when they talk about dating, they're not going outside. And when I mean outside, I don't mean you go to the club. I don't mean you're going to a party or you going on these like boat ride parties, rah. I'm talking about, why don't we have, like, in our city, we have Black Tech Saturdays, and there's a bunch of men and women who are engineers, who do coding, who do a bunch of stuff. And the men and women there look great. Go there. Go to places where there's business women and men that are wanting to talk about life, that have a higher level of thinking. I also think, and I'm going to say it, going to the run groups. Going to the run groups. I think that is hilarious. A great place to go because, you know, you're active, you're working out things. Like, I just feel like doing something different. We have slow rolls here where you can go and just ride a bike with a bunch of new people that you never met before. Do stuff, go outside, live life.
In all reality, I think that is truly my advice of like, you have to live life outside of your home. You have to put yourself out there to an extent.
Yes.
Meeting new people, but being in spaces that the type of man or woman you want to meet would also be.
Yes,
right?
absolutely.
I think just going to church is not enough, you know, and just expecting him to be at church on Sunday.
Oh my goodness. Y'all got to stop that. There's too many women at church.
It's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. So the percentages of you getting the guy is low.
It's low.
That's the real truth on today.
And I think there was a second part. I said, like, what are the top 3 ways to prepare to be in marriage or to be a spouse? I think that's what it said. I'm not going to give top 3 because honestly, I'm looking at the time and we got to go.
Yeah.
But I think one thing is just I'll say it's one pet peeve for me is when people have an expectation of what they want their spouse to be, but they're not living their life at that same level.
Come on.
Or at a level that is even in the ballpark of what they're looking for. And I'm sorry, but you will not attract someone at the level you're looking for if you're not also living at that level.
Yes.
So my number one advice would be to operate and live a lifestyle that is at a level of being the spouse that you want to have in your life and that you want to be yourself.
I would also say that building a community outside of your spouse, like, you can't just always be hanging with just your spouse. I think building a community that where you can talk about real issues, making sure that, you know, I feel like I have these moments like, am I crazy for thinking like this? Like, you need to have a person that you can go to. You can't just, you know, live life and be like, I don't have any friends. I'm only with my husband all the time. No, that is not healthy. I don't think that's the way that God originally ordained marriage to look like. We're supposed to be surrounded by people that helps and build us up. I think just like it takes a village to raise a child, I think that it takes a village for you to continue to grow and have a healthy marriage and people to support you in that. That is my piece.
That's facts. Y'all, we were all over the place today, and that was the point.
Yes.
And we had fun. I enjoyed. These are great questions. I love talking about some
and
of
we
this
had
stuff.
so many more, y'all. There was so much, but maybe we'll do a part 2 later. You let us know what you guys think.
But make sure you, I don't know, what is it? Like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit us up on Instagram at the co-life _
Man, you were horrible at this. Make sure, let me do it. Okay. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe, and follow us on IG at the Let's Get Deep podcast. at _ let's get deep pod _ and then also IG the co-life at _ the co-life _ and TikTok the co-life. We'll talk to you guys soon. Let us know what you think in the comments.
You are good at that. I would never be able to do that.
Love you guys. Bye.